Doctors bowed to this 11-year-old boy. The reason stunned the whole world. He was just 11 years old and the news of his illness devastated the whole family. Liang was diagnosed with cancer and everyone knew that only a few survived this bizarre illness. Everyone in his family lost hope, except for Liang. He knew it was only a few days before he would survive. Soon he decided to do something before his passing which later saved the lives of several people. What he did left the country stunned. It is the story of the 11-year-old who got the doctors to bow for him. But have you ever heard of these strange gestures, and especially for an 11-year-old? No doubt, but his narrative serves as living evidence of how one act of selflessness may have a profound impact on the lives of many. Liang Yayi didn't live as long as most people do, but that didn't stop him from accomplishing something that is loved by all in a nation of over 1 billion people. It is the story of a little boy set in Shenzhen, South China's Guangdong province. The boy who in the year 2014 got doctors to bow 3 times for him after his demise. A 3-time bow was reserved for deities, emperors, or people who did something really honorable. So, what warranted such a reaction from the doctors? Liang lived in a hometown in China. He had no illnesses when he was born and was strong and healthy. He went to school, engaged in group activities, and did everything else that guys his age do. Like his friends, he had a dream. He wanted to grow up to be an inventor. But everything changed when disaster struck. One day when he was just 9 years old, he felt a bit dizzy and told his mother. At first, his mother assumed it was only a small fever, so she gave him over-the-counter medicine in the hope that he would soon feel better. His mother thought everything was just going to return to normal, but it only worsened. Rather than getting better day by day, Liang's illness became scarier. It was nothing like they had ever seen before, so they had to take him to the hospital. At the hospital, the doctors ran several tests on Liang, and when they got the results, they learned that Liang had a tumor in his brain. Imagine how difficult it must have been to inform a young kid and his mother that he was suffering from a terminal illness. Due to hospital trips, he wasn't able to play with his friends as often or attend school as frequently, and he had to live with the worry that he was going to pass away soon. Since everyone knew that only a few survived cancer, Liang and his parents were devastated. The doctor didn't need to spell it out for them to understand the magnitude of the news. Immediately after the results of the tests were relayed, his parents broke into tears. They cried out their eyes and grew sick with worry. They didn't want to lose their little baby boy. But Liang was upbeat. He had goals to pursue and he couldn't simply pass away without having had an impact. He believed if he was determined enough, he would be able to overcome the disease. The little boy took his medications judiciously and attended school when his health allowed it. Liang felt that becoming a doctor who would help save lives was a better fit for him than his original aspirations of becoming an inventor. A story he read in school about bone marrow transfusion played a big part in a decision he made later. Liang's health deteriorated as the days became months and then into years. It became harder and harder for him to go to school. He grew so weak that he had to spend a major amount of time in the hospital with several tubes attached to him just to keep him going. Liang tried his best to stay optimistic, but he couldn't hide the fact that not being able to go to school made him unhappy. His parents were not wealthy, so the cost of his treatment took a huge toll on their finances. Besides the financial trouble, it wasn't easy to watch their loved one go through so much pain. It was a very tough time for the family. His medical team didn't relent in their efforts to keep him alive either. They carried out endless research to ensure his survival, but their efforts proved unsuccessful. Several surgeries were done and a lot of medication was given, but nothing really made a difference. It was a devastating situation. When he turned 11 years old and there was no significant improvement, it became clear to Liang and his parents that his days on Earth were numbered. Even if he might not be alive for long, he had learned so much about his condition from books, and had gotten an idea of what to do from a story he read in school. Therefore, he made his decision and went ahead to tell his mother. One day when his mother came to see him in the hospital, he told his mother his last wish. The wish was for his organs to be donated to the hospital after his demise. He said that he wouldn't need them once he passes away, so it would be better for them to give them to someone who needed them to stay alive. This would be my own way of making someone else happy and making the world a better place, he said. In his discussion with his mother, he emphasized how important it was for his wish to be granted. He said there are many people doing great things in this world. With tears in her eyes, she agreed to do as he asked, and that made Liang very happy. Liang wanted to achieve something great despite being dealt an unlucky hand by life. He believed that he didn't have to live long to achieve what he may not have known the magnitude of that decision, but he definitely achieved his wish. In June 2014, after fighting relentlessly, Liang lost his battle with cancer. His parents and siblings were heartbroken. His mother couldn't believe that he was gone, but she knew what to do to keep his memory alive. Before his demise, the doctors had been notified of his intention. They were so surprised that someone so young could make such a decision and promised to make sure his wish was granted. In China, organ donations were not rampant, the deceased were cremated and people hardly thought to voluntarily donate their organs. It was so hard to get a voluntary blood donor in China. Although Liang learned about it in school and probably didn't know the magnitude of his decision, it took a good person to make such a decision. After getting the go-ahead from his mother to extract his organs, the doctor surrounded the 11-year-old, no longer able to help the 5th grader, who had someday hoped to be one of them. Then they bowed down 3 times in tribute. This form of tribute is reserved for deities, emperors and honorable people. He certainly deserved it. A few seconds later they helped grant with his wishes. His kidneys and liver were successfully extracted and put to good use. Not all heroes wear capes, some are 11-year-olds with a heart of gold. Liang lives in the hearts of the people he donated his organs.